Welcome back. It is time to start looking at some of the issues that we have really lined up for discussion this morning. And if you are just joining us, it is Good Morning Anambra, and I'm still here with Ebere.
And I'm still here with IJ.
Okay, let's move on. In our first segment today, we're going to look at the media and 2019 elections, as the election is fast drawing nearer and nearer. A lot of attention has been moved to the media, as you very much know that the media is the watchdog of the society. And not just only that, they are also a cornerstone of democracy. They also play an indispensable role in the proper functioning of democracy. So when we say media here, we are looking at the mainstream and the new media, which is social media.
Yeah, basically, talking about media in 2019 election, it's encompassing. When we talk about media, we're not talking about just these guys working in the media station as the newscasters or the news readers and, what have you. But like you said, the social media plays a role. Even blogs, journals, stories, it's encompassing. And, we're going to be getting to know.
New media that we're talking about.
Yes, better on it.
Okay, to help us look at this all-important topic today, we have Mr. Victor Agusiobor, former NUJ chairman, Anambra State. We'd like to welcome you to our studio, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
You're welcome.
All right, so let's kickstart media and 2019 elections.
Yes, I was going to ask, how would you assess the readiness of the media for 2019 election?
Good.
Well, as far as democracy is concerned, actually, the media can never be over ready.
Okay.
Yes, because every aspect of this system of governance, which I believe is the best ever contrived by man, will require the perspective of the media. From wanting to throw up yourself for leadership, to party primaries, to general election, to campaigning, to every aspect, to governance itself. You have the media in all of that.
And so my question is, do you think the media will determine 2019 election?
Even if they do not want to determine, they have to be determined to determine it. Because there is absolutely no way it can be otherwise. The media must fiercely set the agenda for this election.
Have they? That was why I asked, are they ready for this election? Have they set agenda for the election?
Not to the best of my appreciation. They are doing something, obviously. But there is still a substantial part of it that they seem to allow the politicians to set. Well, the media, while we set agenda, we are still too much involved in the woo aspect of our job. We tend to develop personalities more, political personalities. We have not been spectacularly wonderful in answering the why and how of things. The moment we start answering the why, something tells me that we are beginning to build the electorate far more than the politician. If it is the who, the money sometimes buys the who. Yeah. But the why requires some knowledge, some explanation, some interpretation that will make the electorate a little bit wiser. If, for example, we are talking about vote buying, we do not have to stop at the level of reporting where votes were bought. Who bought the votes, probably. But we may go a step further to, determine for the electorate the fundamental, the profound implications of vote buying.
All right. Well, we know that a lot of issues have been creeping in, coming up as regards to the media and the 2019 election. Now, the issue of personnel for public offices is quite central to whatever we intend to do and achieve. And in pursuing our quest for a transformed society, we still tend to leave things to chance, forgetting that those who leave things to chance, get worse things than nature has thrown on people. Now, what do we need to start doing? How do we go? Where do we go from here? Because we're talking about, the personnel for these public offices, people who are vying for these positions come 2019. Now, we the electorate, most of us, like you said about vote buying and the likes, most electorate don't even know what they want. So, where do the media come to play in this?
Let me say this, that development, or rather, how do they say it? That communication does not necessarily bring about development. But there is no development. There is nowhere you find improved people without communication. So it is key. You can't put an AK-47 on their heads. You continue to communicate. Like they say in journalism school, what you see is news, what you feel is opinion, what you know is background for the journalist. Yeah. So the journalist must be knowledgeable enough to let the electorate know that there are things they do that offers them ultimate disaster. Democracy is about the best system of government in the sense that it offers you the opportunity to elect your own statesman or to elect your own villain.
In the real sense, is Nigeria practicing democracy?
We have started, I'm not taking the words of you, we have started 16 years. I don't know. If we are not making progress, it can be akin to $1 in a class. We have a society that has practiced this thing for more than 150 years. We have places to borrow. If we are not borrowing right, it's a problem. But I think it is gradual, I agree, but you must be on the right track for you to get it right. And part of being in the right track is for the electorate to understand their very deep, profound, very important job in a democracy.
Okay. And I know that given the nature of political contest in Nigeria, that inaccurate or biased reports could endanger peace, leading to maybe violence before, during, or after the elections. So how ready or what has been put down to ensure that we don't experience this? That's inaccurate report or biased report from the media.
Well, let me take it from the books. The NPO, the NUJ, and the NG, that's the Nigerian Guild of Editors, they came together and they have a pamphlet that they have named Codes of Election Reporting. Here you have all the do's and don'ts of reporting. Like I said, merely offering accurate report of untruths doesn't help journalism.
Okay.
Gone are the days when you put a microphone in the mouth of a lying officer and he lies for 1 hour. If you go publish it, you must be accurate, definitely. That is stenographic reporting. But merely reporting falsehood correctly doesn't add up to the truth.
And what about being biased in your reports?
That is all part
Because
of it.
you have this political leaning or inclination, towards one political party or a candidate, then you go out and give a biased report about a particular situation, especially in elections.
Yeah, it does happen.
So that's why I asked him.
Yeah,
what have you put in place to make sure that it's checked?
No, there is absolutely nothing you can do to somebody who decides to be unprofessional.
Okay. All right, so let's hold it there and then bring this report from the streets.
Not prepared at all. Do you know why? Because to start with, they don't even know where they belong. They don't even know their onions. They follow the big wigs. They are not objective. They are not straightforward. They are not fair. They are not balanced. In fact, whoever pays the highest amount gets the best news.
Incidentally, you are from ABS. And this very station is the station that I listen to most. And in all cases, I've always known that they devote even up to 20% of their time in trying to discuss the issue of this general election that will be coming on in 2019. And they are creating awareness. The only issue is that those people you are equally telling, are they actually listening?
It would be wrong to take the media as a whole. We have privately owned media, we have state government media. Each group will have their own vision. So I am convinced that those that are state-owned in terms of federal government and state government, sing more to the tune of the government in power.
Okay, thank you very much, and welcome back. Well, you heard what those professionals said. The first person, I think, is the HOD of Mass Comm Unizik. And it's like he echoed what I said about biased, reporters being biased in their reports. Okay? And he also mentioned in those days of brown envelope. I don't even know the color of the envelopes now. So do you see such repeated in 2019 election?
Well, he was even more damning in his condemnation of the media. Brown envelope, it is something we don't wish for. But to say that it would be, the election will be completely bereft of brown envelope is to probably dance in the sun. I don't think it is like that. There are a number of factors that may, bring it up. But the truth is that true professionals, wherever they are, must continue to condemn the entire phenomenon of brown envelopes. Brown envelopes detracts from accuracy. It detracts from objectivity. It detracts from fairness. It detracts from hearing the other side. It detracts from all the ethics that we know about journalism. So why would you, a profession that feeds you, and
collect their PVC to make sure that they participate in the election? That's the picture we have just seen.
Well, there's really a very big one right now. We know as regards to the 2019 elections, well, with the exception of 1993 and probably 2015, Nigeria has really had a very bad history of elections in this country. And now one of the consequences being that many Nigerians are enthused about participating in election because of lack of trust. What is the fate of 2019 elections? Because most electorate, like I said, most voters, most citizens will find it difficult to come out because they would always, in quote, what am I even coming to do when I don't even trust that my vote will count? When I don't even trust that who I'm actually voting for, it's actually going to make any difference. What's the fate of 2019 election?
I think that level of thinking at this point is rather unfortunate. If your PVC doesn't count, why do people buy it for 5,000 naira? Why do people try to buy it?
People buy PVCs?
Sorry, your voter's card?
Yes.
Yes?
Really?
That is in terms of directing where you vote.
True.
It happened. They said, well, I wasn't there, but a great chunk of allegation came out from Ekiti State that it happened. So if people can pay for it and direct your voting, it simply means that it is a very useful document. That's the point I am making. Therefore, the communication must be on. We must have a way of telling the modal voter that once an individual decides to buy your vote, he has considered you an idiot. He has considered you as somebody who doesn't understand what that document is all about. He has considered you poor because you are purchasable. And if he considers you poor, it simply means that if he goes into governance, he will make you poorer so that your price will be cheaper next time.
If you bought it 4,000 this time, maybe next election will be 2,000.
Yes.
But I know that it is possible that the 2019 general election will be one of the most intense media-focused events in our political history. How would the media avail the public with adequate information about the electoral process so that as you are counting now, the things that they will do to you if they buy your vote, how have the media or are the media doing it now so that the electorate will know exactly where we're going to in 2019?
I offer all the rooms for improvement. We can beef up our art. We can do better. Profuse undiluted information in that direction coming in torrents so that even if your head is blocked, the pressure, the sheer quantum of information coming from the media will make you sit up. Do you know that there is danger around you, lurking around you?
All right, talking about pressure 2019, pressure is going to be intense in the media and under the leadership of Yakubu Mahmoud, the INEC chairman. Of course, we know we had a successful election in Anambra State to a very large extent. It was violence-free, and we're hoping that 2019 will be like that. And the chairman, Yakubu himself, has said that he's reassuring Nigerians that 2019 election will be the most successful election ever conducted in Nigeria. What's your take on that statement?
Well, let me start with an amen. Well, positively. But let me hope that politicians desperate for power, to take power, and those desperate to continue with power will not make his dream a pipe dream. That's my hope. But for the part of the media, we cannot be INEC, we cannot be the politicians. The much we can do is to offer the public the background, the atmosphere, the significance of what they do, the setting upon which they do them, the origin, the knowledge that we have, we offer them. It is left for the electorate to make the choice.
Well, I know that part of the functions of the media is to maybe provide the electorate, with the electoral process, information about the electoral process. No. Just like you are counting now. Would you say that we are doing it? I've asked this question, I'm saying it again. Can we beat our chest and say that we have educated all this electorate very, very well, that they know what to do, how to carry on in the electoral process, how to vote, how to get your card, defend your vote, and all the rest of things? Would you say that media has done this? Because the whole thing lies on media. In my estimation, we are doing our best, but it's not yet uhuru. We cannot beat our chest. What is stopping you from, getting it? What do you think is? Probably it's not the problem of the media. So? Probably, I would just suggest an increase in the quantum of information. This is a typical example. The ABS, I think, we've been running. The media is the information provider. So how do we increase it? Yeah. Increase the media houses or whatever? No, I thought we were talking about content. Yes. The content, both in the social media, in the traditional media, so to speak. And I said, like I said earlier, aside from merely pushing a whole lot of information on them, let us explain, let us be more explanatory as to the tragedy of their actions. That is about the best way.
All right, 2019, a lot of PVCs are yet to be collected, unclaimed by their owners. What does this mean for 2019 election?
It's all part of the apathy you mentioned. Do we put a gun in their heads and tell them to go collect them? No. What do we do?
Because, there was some time back towards this election, 2019 elections, where we had stories that in the north, there are lots of underage people who are being registered. And now we're talking about when in the east here, research has shown that, lots of PVCs unclaimed and not collected are much. And we are talking about 2019 election. How is this going to play out?
Badly. Part of the communication will be, you don't stay out there, refuse to collect your PVC, only to spend a lot of time where they sell newspapers in 4 years complaining your life off. When you have the pragmatic, practical opportunity to do something, use your vote to do something. It is even better that you vote somebody who eventually ended up a very foolish person as a governor. Really? Than not voting at all. Than not voting at all.
No, but which is better? Because if you say it's better to vote someone who probably will make your life more worse and not voting at all, which is better?
No. The point is that at the level of voting, it was your choice. And people get the government. Yes, you go in your home and in your person and you say, actually, I didn't make a right choice. And then that will push you to come out next time. Yes. To correct your mistake. But I know that hate speech is one problem that is staring us on the face. Okay? And it's going to play a very big role in this 2019 election. I don't know how we're going to contend it as media. What have we put in place to check this? Though I know there's been this legislation against it. But it does appear it's not working. What is the role of the media as concerns this to control hate speech? Frankly, my major worry in that is the social media. For the traditional media, a whole lot of heartless editing goes into removing some of this stuff, professionalism. And for the social media, I am yet to contrive how that can be controlled. All kinds of people. It is actually a forum that affords equal canvas for saints, angels, demons, and all kinds of people to operate.
Social media is another demon, like you say. So, do you have anything in place to check the excesses of the social media? That's the new media, the way they divulge information, especially during elections, because you'll be hearing different results in the social media, why the main result is not yet out.
For known blogs with known personalities and identities, the law can work with them. But there are nondescript characters you find in the
internet. I was going to come to that. A lot of people, a lot of politicians are even beginning to, sign up people to go open, create some website, register some blogs, and what have you. And they keep on saying stories that are false, disseminating. And like we say, it's actually going to be a death trap for 2019 elections, because if we don't know the true stories, like social media right now is something I don't know if you want to use the word you can rely on or you cannot rely on, because lots of stories coming from the social media. Today, a particular story is saying the president is doing this. Before the end of that day, another story is saying the same thing. Where do we go from here?
It has all the ingredients of a tragic scene, if you ask me.
So are there practical ways the electorate can, make 2019 election a better one?
The only way is when we supply them all the information they want. We may not convert all of them, but may it please the Almighty that we convert a large chunk of the
Okay, your own words now. I think you need to advise the media and then your fellow practitioners, and then advise the government and even the electorate on how to go about this 2019 elections before we go.
Okay, thank you very much. The one point is that those seeking power and those who want to retain power, they do not come out as saints in any society. The media is always an assault on some of their very not too decent schemes. So, the much we can do is the government. If there is anarchy in this society, there won't be government. Therefore, the media must go into serious interpretative reporting, which simply means more of explanatory facts than explanatory opinion. They must have to, assault the electorate with barrage of information that will push him out of docility, passivity, and idiocy. Because if you fail to vote and you stay in your room only to complain after 4 years, then is there any other definition of being an idiot?
No, we don't have a moral justification. And to the politicians, that we're running off.
Well, for the politicians, well,
because sometimes are the people that push the practitioner, media practitioners, into doing what ought not to be done.
Well, ensconced privilege don't use their places voluntarily in any society. They have the advantage of money and they are pushing you. If they are pushing you and it is to their own advantage, what we must do is to fight them. But on a more universal scale, the much I can say is the politician. If you cause anarchy in your society, you will cease to be a politician, we won't have anybody to rule, and it's bad for everybody.
That's good. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us this morning. Talking of Mr. Victor Agusiobor, former NUJ chairman, Anambra State. Thank you for joining us this morning, sir.
Thank you.
Many thanks for joining us.
Bless you.